A shooting incident leaves a man hospitalized in serious condition. Children encouraged to continue learning even during summer vacation. 4 charities to benefit from $150,000 raised through the Shafet Fun Run. And in sports, the Windies in danger of losing the first test inside 3 days.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. A man remains hospitalized in serious condition tonight after being shot. That incident occurred around 8:30 this morning at Bellevue, Waterford, St. Michael. Police say the injured man was taken via ambulance to the hospital for medical attention. Lawmen also say investigations remain at a sensitive stage. In another violent incident, an elderly man was hospitalized in stable condition following a dispute at Glendean's Bar, Britain's New Road, St. Michael this afternoon. Police Inspector Wendell Carter says the injured man was taken to the hospital by ambulance.
This afternoon, we responded to a report about 1500 hours at Glendean's Bar, situated at Britain's New Road, St. Michael, where there was a dispute between 2 elderly persons who were socializing at the said bar. The dispute became heated, and one of these persons was injured, was seriously injured, and he was taken to the hospital by ambulance. He's presently undergoing treatment. He's in serious but stable condition, and a male is presently in police custody assisting with this information, with these investigations. We at this time cannot give these names because of the delicate situation of the investigations, but we're requesting assistance from any person who was in the area and saw what occurred to contact the Hastings Worthing Police Station at 430-7608 or any other police station. Well, a 34-year-old man has been remanded to Dodds Prison after appearing in court to answer a number of drug and firearm charges. Police say Lavardo Regilio Hines, 34, of Glenderry Road, Bridge Road, St. Michael, committed the offences on Saturday, the 6th of July, while at the same address. He was charged with unlawful possession of a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, unlawful possession of 26 rounds of ammunition, unlawful possession of 2.5 pounds of cannabis with a street value of $10,000, trafficking in cannabis, and possession with intent to supply. Hines appeared before Magistrate Alison Burke at the District A Magistrates Court today. He is set to reappear on the 8th of August. Some church leaders are calling for Barbadians to return to God in the wake of an increase in crime to nip the behavior in the bud. Barbados has been seeing an unusual surge in gun and knife crimes over the last month. The Catholic Church has committed to dedicating tomorrow's lunchtime mass to regional victims of Hurricane Beryl, as well as those who have fallen victim to crime. Vicar General Father Clement Paul says the crime situation is out of hand and totally un-Barbadian and not the way countrymen ought to live.
We no longer value life, and we no longer know how to cope with our anger. It is a straight case of no more values on life, and we have to start all over again. I'm praying, and I'm praying both for the families of the victims, but I'm also praying for the families of the perpetrators and the perpetrators themselves. I'm praying for both because I think you need to pray for both because they're both human beings. They are both brothers and sisters for whom Christ. That's what I want to say. They're both called for prayers. They're both called for divine intervention.
Head of the Barbados Christian Council, the Reverend Dr. Cicely Attil Hosford, says they remain concerned about the absence of conflict resolution without a weapon. She says the entire community needs to come on board to solve the growing problem, as the nation is at a loss and all hands on deck approach is needed.
We will join with the government in any efforts they are putting forward to wrestle this situation to the ground. It is just getting out of hand, and we all need to work to find and come up with solutions rather than just sitting back.
Meanwhile, senior pastor with Restoration Ministries International, Apostle Dr. David Durant, says he believes an aggressive approach needs to be taken to arrest the situation and wrestle crime to the ground.
The total disregard for human life, seems to be very, very, very prominent now in the minds of our youths. They don't care. As long as they can be paid to do something, that's it. Life is not important. And I think we need to really become relevant and grapple this thing before it escalates higher. I know it's worse in some countries, but we are a very small 166 square mile island. We cannot really afford for this.
So what are some of the factors that predispose people to criminal behavior? That is one of the questions Barbadians are asking against the background of the island recording 7 homicides in the past 2 weeks, 3 in the last 4 days. It was just last Friday that Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley outlined a number of measures aimed at tackling crime. Those measures include legislative changes and more resources for the Barbados Police Service. Well, tonight we're taking a closer look at the issues of violence and crime, specifically their root causes. And joining us for that is criminologist with the Office of the Attorney General and author Kim Ramsey. Ms. Ramsey, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson, and good evening to Barbados.
What can you tell us about the factors that would predispose people to violence and the sort of criminal behaviors that are causing some concern at the moment?
Crime is multi-causal. First of all, we have to acknowledge that. And it is also learned behavior. So many of our young people, I always say to people that people are not born criminals. So people learn to be criminals either by how they're raised, by witnessing crime, witnessing violence. They see it as a mechanism to address any conflict that they're involved in. Can you hear me? Because
I can hear you quite well. Proceed.
I'm not hearing you, Pearson.
All right, we'll try to resolve that matter with you in just a moment. I hope you can hear me now. I just want to go on to ask you what we can, as a society and as individuals, do to reduce the likelihood of these sorts of outcomes.
Okay, so as I was just saying, that it is mostly a learned behavior. So one of the things that we have to do is to go back to addressing the issue of values in our society. And the challenge is that we are seeing more and more young people becoming involved in crime. We see an escalation of violence in schools. And I believe that one of the ways to address this is to go back to the school system, go back to the communities. We have to become our brother's keeper. And we have to teach values and conflict resolution, because people are resorting to violence too easily to deal with conflict. Weapons, we're seeing an escalation of knives and so on and stabbings. The easy availability of firearms was always a challenge that we've had in the past 15 years or so. But we have to go back to teaching people how to resolve conflict in an amicable way. And this is also a reflection of our wider society, because it is not just young people, but we're seeing also adults resorting to the use of violence to resolve conflict. So we have to go back to society to values and instilling values. And as was stated in an earlier interview, we have to have respect for the sanctity of life.
Yes, Ms. Ramsey, I really want to thank you for coming to share with us this evening from your experience, what you've been seeing happening with the crime wave. We'll take a break here. We're coming back in just a moment. Well, children are being encouraged to continue learning even as they proceed on summer holiday. The advice from Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw in a message to mark the end of the academic year.
Summer is a perfect time to learn something new. Whether it is swimming, acquiring a new skill, or exploring a new hobby. So I hope that you take advantage of the many summer camps available. It is the perfect opportunity to open yourself to new experiences while making new and potentially lifelong friendships. Remember that reading is the cornerstone of all learning. So I challenge you to read something every day. Discover new interests and let your curiosity guide you.
Archer Bradshaw has also thanked education officers, principals and teachers for their dedication. As the ministry embarks on education transformation, she has acknowledged it is facing physical, environmental and social challenges. The education chief is also urging teachers to make use of their professional training courses over the summer.
You have truly earned your break, and we encourage you to rest and rejuvenate, because we know that it is the only way for you to be at your best. While you rest, however, I encourage you to take advantage of the professional development opportunities presented by the Ministry of Education during the summer. We will be offering workshops on school improvement planning, project-based learning, multisensory literacy, and using data for school and system improvement. Erdiston Teachers Training College will also be offering a suite of courses.
And as public schools close for the summer, the National Summer Camp is being positioned as an avenue through which young Barbadians will be occupied. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment will be hosting over 40 camps across the island, including one for people with disabilities in partnership with the National Disabilities Unit. Youth Commissioner and Coordinator of the National Camps Program, Carolyn Garnes, says there have been many success stories since the introduction of the camps.
We've been able over the years to keep the children occupied and learn new skills, meet new friends, and their friendships that have lasted for years. Over the years, we've had young people who still call me Mummy and Mum. So we've developed a lot of them, and they've grown over the years and branched out and business people and stuff like that.
Ms. Garnes says through collaboration with other ministries and corporate Barbados, the camps will cater to several disciplines.
What we're doing, we're looking at the locations, because there are some locations that may not want to have drama. So we've asked the officers to identify what other disciplines or they would want to see happening at their camps, what kind of camp they would envisage, if it's a cultural camp, a sports camp, whatever. We're also looking to have an athletics inter-camp meet. And we're looking at some other exciting things. We're partnering with some other ministries and corporate Barbados to offer them some other activities. One of the other ministries we're looking at working with is the Energy Ministry for their Energy Week, where they'll be doing some stuff about energy with the campers.
The Christchurch Girls' School is the winner of the inaugural Barbados Light and Power Battle of the Bots competition. The coding and robotics competition was open to primary school students, and after months of collaborative work, it came to a climax at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology. Second place went to the Blackman at Gollop, while Arthur Smith placed third. Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw says the coding and robotics program is about empowering students to reach their full potential and cultivating essential skills for success.
Through competitions such as these, our students learn the invaluable lesson of teamwork, of harnessing individual strengths to achieve collective greatness. As Helen Keller once said, alone we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. This ethos of collaboration instills in our children the importance of cooperation, communication, and mutual support and respect, skills that are fundamental not only for competition, but in all aspects of life.
Scores of first formers at Queen's College have been recognized for their contributions in sports, academics and extracurricular activities over the past school year. Officials presented the special tokens to the awardees during an assembly at the Husbands St. James Institution. While lauding the students, Principal Mitchell Maxwell urged them to maintain the standards while striving for excellence.
Excellence at Queen's College is a big deal. And excellence in this school community is attainable. The vision which has been so planted for our students to be well-rounded students so that they are able to respond to what is a globally dynamic space is very much in progress here at Queen's College.
Principal Maxwell highlighted the significance of their achievements given the number of young people involved in crime.
Understand that as a country, we are crying out for good news and for good young people to contribute to this beloved nation, Barbados. Is it doable? Yes. Is it achievable? Yes. Can we dream about it? Yes. Can we believe? Yes. But most importantly, we must put God at the center of everything we do.
The $130,000 raised through the Shafet Fun Run 2024 will be shared among 4 local charities. The funds raised from sponsorship and the sale of T-shirts will be donated to the Auntie Olga Needy Children's Fund at the Variety the Children's Charity, the Precious Touch Foundation, the Young Women's Christian Association, as well as the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust, which for the first time will receive a piece of the pie. The run, which had just shy of 5,000 participants this year, will be held next year on the 8th of June. Managing Director of Shafet Group of Companies, Ryan Halut, says the funds from the annual event continue to play a pivotal role in helping needy families.
And just to get the funds is one hurdle, but then you don't want them sitting in the account. So to have the charities, the 4 local charities we work with, all of you spoke this morning, I'll do the hardest part is what you do, is making sure Auntie Olga's legacy and her dream and her vision is seen right through till the end, that the funds go to the correct families, they get there timely, and it's just not sitting in an account just earning interest or whatever. That's not what it's for. It's not an investment we're doing in a bank account.
Meanwhile, Chief Barker of Variety, the children's charity, Ryan Jones, says the donation will go towards the 2024 edition of the Auntie Olga Memorial School Aid Program.
Last year, we were able to help, 350 plus kids, to be able to prepare for back to school. As Don Lisa said, though, the need is great. We actually had more than 1,200 applications last year. Out of that, we were only able to help just about 400. The need is great, and we have, a team of volunteer social workers that help us evaluate the needs of the kids and look at them. And some of the stories that they bring back to us, it's heartbreaking.
Following the deadly Category 4 hurricane that brought destruction to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is calling on the international community for climate justice, more loss and damage funding, and access to finance for climate mitigation. Crystal Hoyt has more.
Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, says Hurricane Beryl has decimated the southern Grenadines.
I refer to Union Island as Beryl's Armageddon. Practically every single house, the roof is gone. Most of them, the wall structures are shattered or severely compromised. The roof and structure of the hospital, the schools, secondary school, primary school, gone.
He says the devastation has been almost total and rebuilding will be expensive.
One of the first things which you have to do, and there's a team right down now in Union, they're going to Myra and they're going also to Canawan. What do you do with the rubble? These islands are too fragile from an environmental standpoint. So you have to move that rubble somewhere else. Where and how? It's a very expensive matter.
When I asked for an estimate on just how costly it will be, this was his response.
Oh, it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Prime Minister Gonsalves says it's time for the international community to step up, especially since their pledges often don't materialize for small island developing states.
At the last meeting of COP in the United Arab Emirates, this damage and loss fund has been just set up the year before at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. It was set up without any money, but a fund without any money is an oxymoron. So then you set it up 1 year later. But the pledges to it amount to about $700 million. Now, that couldn't take care of Maria in Dominica in 2017.
He says not only is money needed for damage and loss, funds are also needed to finance climate mitigation. Reporting from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time for sports tonight, and we're joined by Mark Seal. Mark, good evening.
Very good evening. In the opening match of the West Indies Rising Stars men's under-19 two-day championship being played at Zion Hill playing field in St. Vincent, Barbados scored 200 for 9 declared in their first innings against Trinidad and Tobago. Batting at number 9, Jatario Prescott led with an unbeaten 55, while Joshua Morris added 43. Jason Agard took 4 for 50. In reply, TNT under-19s went to stumps on 51 for 3. Meantime, over in Trinidad, Rain assisted the Barbados team in their first win of the CWI Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championship. Barbados won their 5th round clash over the hosts by 12 runs under the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method. Sent into bat, Barbados Under-19 women posted 100 for 5 off their 20 overs, led by Asabi Calendar with 40 and Najani Cumberbatch with 30. In reply, TNT Under-19s reached 82 for 9 off 18 overs when Rain forced play to an early end. And as I said, the Barbados Under-19 women winning under the DLS method. In more cricket news, the New York Tri-State Giants and Hills Academy of Australia will contest tomorrow's final of the 2024 Sir Garfield Sobers International Schools Championship. Playing in the semi-finals at the 3Ws Oval today, the Giants defeated the Lodge School of Barbados by 13 runs. Scores: New York Tri-Star Giants 153, Lodge School 140. Now over at Windward, Hills Academy booked their spot in the final with a 62-run victory over New York State A team. Scores in that match: the Hills Academy 179 for 9, the Tri-State A team 117 all out. CBC TV8 will have live coverage of the final tomorrow via the BCA website from 11 a.m. at the 3Ws Oval. Barbados remain unbeaten at the Netball World Under-21 Youth Cup qualifier being played in Guadeloupe. The Bajan girls claimed their 3rd win this morning after beating the hosts by a whopping 109 goals, 113 to 4. The Bajans led by all quarters 13-1, 60-2, and 87-3 before wrapping up the victory. The Sandy Wraith shot 39 of 48 and the Maya Waldron 20 of 22. Barbados will play their final group match tonight against TNT before taking on Grenada in the semi-finals on Saturday. Now the top 3 teams will advance to the Youth World Cup next year in Gibraltar. And staying with netball, Shirley Chisholm are once again the champions of the National Sports Council's primary school netball competition. Playing in the final at the Wildy Gym yesterday, Shirley Chisholm defeated Christchurch girls 21-9 to win their 3rd consecutive title. CBC's Anmar Goodrich-Boyce reports.
The battle lines were drawn and it was time to find out who will be crowned primary school netball queens for 2024. Defending champion Shirley Chisholm in the orange bibs. On the attack, quick passing and goal attack, Janae Harvey has the magic touch. That's perfect. Christchurch girls were definitely in the mood despite being behind. Zanaya Ramsey is impressive. Shirley Chisholm, however, didn't ease up the pressure. Look at this exquisite pass from MVP Ubrina Knight, helping her team to establish some daylight. Harvey with the concentration written all over her face gets the shot to go. Let's clap for that. Knight, the little magician, was waving her wand. She finds goal attack, Ramaya Wilson, and that's in. Shirley Chisholm leading 12-6 at the break. Let's go to the final quarter now where Christchurch girls were really up against the challenge. But nevertheless, Amiri Thompson made this one count. Regardless, Shirley Chisholm were already running away with the match. Harvey again is on target. And if you thought that was good, this play was even better. Wilson puts the icing on the cake, and it's hip hip hooray. Shirley Chisholm are once again champions of the National Sports Council's Primary Schools Netball competition, winning 21-9. Anmore Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In business now, at just 19 years old, Holly Ann Bailey is already creating waves as a painter in the automotive industry. The World Skills gold medalist has already demonstrated such ability. Her supervisor at one of the leading car dealerships is suggesting this world is her oyster. Trevor Thorpe has the story.
Holly Ann Bailey is a product of the Samuel Jackman Institute of Technology. The young paint specialist, who is fresh from an attachment in Germany, has also benefited from specialist training in the body, trim and paint shops at Courtesy Garage. The company's body shop team leader, Lindsay Ford, says Miss Bailey shows an eagerness not seen among her peers, and at the end of her training and development will become the total package.
When you look at the automotive market now, artisans and skilled, trained people that do what we do, it's on the decline. So it's really heartening to see that the young people such as Holly and other young people are really getting into it and showing what they can do.
Miss Bailey, who will be leaving for Canada at the weekend before heading to France for the World Skills Finals, says she was undecided at first about what career to pursue. It was her mother who encouraged her to try automotive painting.
At first, I was skeptical in terms of what I wanted to do. And I was just at home one day, and then my mom kind of encouraged me to start something, do something with my life in a trade that, speaks out to me. And that's when she introduced me to car painting. And at first it was little, let's see what's this about. But then as I started to do it more, it was just like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
The entire exercise has been a learning curve that involves exposure to a cross-section of new things. And she is looking forward to the future, returning to Barbados and to Courtesy Garage.
It's something that I always wanted to do. I only now figured out that this is something I want to do. After being struggling my whole life with figuring out my plan, like what is there out there for me? Like I finally found something that I love and want to pursue in my life. So I'm definitely coming back here, of course.
Miss Bailey is in the final stages of training for the World Skills, and there is high expectations that she will do well.
I am extremely proud of her. The entire Courtesy team is proud of her. She's worked really hard. She's dug deep. She's actually been trained by every single technician in the body shop. The body men spent time with her. The trim men spent time with her. The painters spent time with her. She is a product of all of us.
After the competition, Miss Bailey is looking forward to taking her place in the automotive industry. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Back to sports, back to Mark.
Yes, we're going to have some road tennis where the Barbados Open for 2024 will be launched tomorrow. Details of that premier road tennis tournament will be given at the Ministry of Sports at Sky Mall, Haggett Hall from 10 a.m. And the news conference will be carried live on CBC TV8. Immediately after that, we will join the coverage of the Sagari final at the 3Ws Oval. Barbados took silver and bronze in the female category and bronze in the male when the Barbados Federation of Island Triathletes hosted the World Development Regional Cup. 21 athletes from 7 countries took part in the event on the Mighty Griner Highway Triathlon circuit recently. It was a bright and early 6:15 a.m. start on the Mighty Griner Highway, brought forward from the scheduled 8 a.m. start to avoid the higher temperatures of mid to late morning. The males in the World Triathlon Sprint for the Regional Development Cup were first into the water at Brandon's, swimming 750 meters, and there was a small group, all within striking distance of each other. First out of the water was Barbadian Luke McIntyre, and he was closely followed by teammates Daniel Lashley and Kane Banfield, while right behind them was Marcin Fernandez Gonzalez of Cuba. However, the Cuban was a little faster in transitioning from the water to the 20-kilometer cycle leg. He was first out of the docking bay. Leading the female section out of the water was Carol Ramirez Bodden of the Dominican Republic, Zara Gaskin of Barbados, second, and Ashley Thomas of Trinidad and Tobago, third at that point. But Nina James of Grenada had a good transition to move into third, coming out of the docking bay. Now back to the males, and after a lap of the cycle course, Fernandez Gonzalez was still leading. But right with him now was Christian Janssen of Aruba and Banfield of Barbados. While for the women, Rebecca Janssen of Aruba was having an impressive ride. She was now the leader, while Zara Gaskin was still in second. End of the 20 kilometers, and Fernandez Gonzalez still had a slight lead. Banfield slipped into second ahead of Janssen. Remember, you have to get your feet off of the pedal before crossing the line. Then you have to switch to running shoes. And the Cuban made that transition first. But Banfield was a little slower than Janssen, so he was now third to depart on the 5-kilometer run. In the female section, Janssen, incidentally, she's a sister of Christian Janssen, had developed a sizable lead. Zara Gaskin was still in second place, but with some work to do. And look who's now in third place. Isis Gaskin of Barbados, Zara's younger sister. She passed James at the end of the ride, and make note, Isis is a good runner. Fast forward to the end of the race, and in the male category, Fernandez Gonzalez of Cuba, all smiles, was first in 58 minutes, 53 seconds, virtually leading from start to finish. Second was Christian Janssen of Aruba, just over the hour mark, 1 hour and 1 second. And from how the race developed, you probably were looking for Banfield to be next. But with a super run was Luke McIntyre. He was first out of the water, lost contact with the front cyclists, but his run elevated him to third in 1 hour, 3 minutes, 12 seconds. There was no surprise for the female champion. Rebecca Janssen was first in 1 hour, 10 minutes, 33 seconds. And look who motored through the 5-kilometer run. It was Isis Gaskin. She crossed the line in 1 hour, 11 minutes, 3 seconds to be second, while her sister Zara, who was second for most of the race, took the bronze. Her time, 1 hour, 11 minutes, 40 seconds.
That's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.